how was that?
It was really cool.
Why don't you turn it back around the right way? Wow, you're doing it all by yourself. Wow. Look at that. You guys built that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You guys built that. Your parents, make sure you tell them that you're now software developers. And that you don't need to go to school for it. Hey guys, welcome back. How was your break?
Good.
Good? So I think hopefully you got to see some actual programming being done.
Yeah.
What do you prefer? What we did or what they were doing?
I prefer this.
You do. What about you guys?
This one.
Were you able to understand anything on there?
No, I didn't. I couldn't.
Me neither. I don't understand either. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're now going to create some software that's going to run on this device here. This device is called an Arduino. And what it allows us to do is it allows us to take some input and control some output. So input means it's taking something in. And output means it's sending something out, right? So what do you think this is?
Output.
What do you guys think?
Output.
Output, right? So this over here, this is a switch. And it's an input, right? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take input from here. This is just, this is the switch that we're going to take input from. And it's basically just connected to the board here in a very simple way. And then here we've got the output. So this is our input, this is our output. Now, wouldn't it be cool if we could flip this upside down and the light would turn off?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so let's build the software to do that. We're going to come over here and select the board, right? That looks kind of like this, right? The thing that's on the table. So that's the Arduino. Then we're going to select one of these, which is the light. We're going to connect the light here. We have the light connected on pin 13. So we're going to say the big leg of the light is connected on 13. Then we're going to get one of these, which is going to represent this switch over here. And we're going to connect the red part of that to A0, which is our analog input. Simple so far, right? Yeah. Okay, we're just basically telling the system where we've connected everything. And we're doing that, in the form of a diagram. So now, let's go back to behavior. Remember, that's how we do our programming. So we're going to go to behavior. And let's read what it says. It says, define connection 1 as an analog input on pin 1. Does anyone know the difference between analog and digital? No? Okay, so digital is just on or off. It's just either the light is on or the light is off. You can't have your light half on, right? Doesn't make any sense for it to be half on.
No,
right?
it doesn't.
So this would be something that's like digital because it would be either on or off. So we're going to say, well, our light is a digital output, right? We all agreed it was an output.
Yeah.
And then we're going to say that this switch over here, we're going to call it a switch. And we're going to say it's an analog input. So analog means it can, kind of be on, kind of be off. So let me give you an example of how that might be. Do you know how the colors in the screen are made? Any ideas? So there's 3 colors that make up everything you see on the screen. Red, green, and blue. So how do we get pinks and purples and all the other colors, yellows and those sorts of things? So by mixing the colors, right? But you can't mix, a dark blue, right, with, something else, and you're not going to get a full range of colors. So what they do is they reduce or they turn off a little bit of each color, so that when they mix them, you get the colors you want. That's why analog is important, because we wouldn't have colors. We wouldn't have all the colors in the world if we didn't have analog inputs. I mean, if we didn't have analog. So in the same way, we have an analog input here. Yeah? Which we're calling the switch. And you'll see why in a moment, why it's called a switch. So now, let's do the job that all programmers do. We're going to write some logic. Right? So we're going to go here and we're going to select an if block. What do you think this block might do? If. What does it sound like? Does your mom say, if you're good, I'll buy you pizza?
Yeah.
Right? So think about that. If you're good, I'll buy you pizza. So it means if something happens, then something else is going to happen, right? If you're good, then you're going to get pizza. Right? Okay, so this is exactly the same thing. We're going to say if the switch has a value that's less than, I don't know, let's say 50. If the switch has a value that's less than 50, otherwise, if the switch is not less than 50, then we're going to set the light to off. So what does 50 mean? Well, remember we talked about the colors, right? So if you take blue and you said 0, that blue has a value of 0, it means there's no blue, right? And if you say, blue has a value of 100, well, then there's some blue. But if you say that blue has a value of 1,000, then there's lots and lots of blue, right? So it means the same thing, right? So if the switch is one way, means has a low value, then we're going to turn the light on, which is what we have right now. The other way is if the switch has a value that's more than 50, maybe it's 100, maybe it's 1,000, maybe it's 500, whatever it might be, then we're going to turn the light off. Does that look pretty simple? Does it look like it's something you can do?
Maybe.
Yeah?
Maybe.
So if you got a bit comfortable with this, it's something you could do, right? Okay, so let's test it out. This is what we're writing. Now I'm going to show you what our system is going to write that's actually going to go on here. When we're talking about, remember this, the light is digital, right? So we can represent on and off as 1 and 0. So let's replace that. We'll go back over here. We'll get a number puzzle piece. And we're going to plug in this number puzzle piece. And we're going to say we want to turn the light on. So that's a 1, right? So what's it going to be if we're going to turn the light off? 0. Yeah. We wrote just a little bit of things. Look what got generated. Can you guys see that? It looks like gobbledygook to me. Right? Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take this program and we're going to send it to this board. And now look what's happening. It's taking all of that code and it's sending it to this board. So you guys want to build that the same way I did? Yeah? Okay. So let's try it. So what I want you to do, you see the big leg on the light? Yeah? Touch that colored point there and then click the button. Yeah, and then click the button. Okay, now pull the mouse and go all the way to number 13 and click 13. Just a little bit down. There you go. Okay. Now go over to the red, the other side, the other component, not that. Yeah. And then click the red dot on the dot. Do you want to help her? There you go. Okay, now pull and go all the way to A0. That's right, A0. Yeah, now it's connected. Okay, so now we've told the computer, we've told the software what we've connected on this board, because it doesn't have eyes, right? So it doesn't know that, right? Now, click on behavior. Okay, and then you see that pencil next to behavior. Click on that. Yeah, click that. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to give these things names, right? So should we call this one light? Yeah? Okay, so we connected this to pin 13, right? So let's change number 13, connection 0. Let's call that light. Okay, now, is it an input or an output? Output, exactly. So change that to output. And is it digital or analog? Digital.
Digital.
Yeah, because it's just on or off in this case, right? Okay, now the other one. What should we call this?
Switch.
Switch? Okay. Okay, now that's an analog input, right? Okay, good. So now what we need to do, remember the if you're good, you get pizza, right? So we need some logic. So click logic and grab that and plug it into the loop. What does a loop mean? Something just goes round and round as a loop, right? It's the same thing here. What's happening here is that whatever we write here is just going round and round and round inside here.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so we have our if. Now, what do we want to do? If the switch has a value that's less than 50. Okay, so now what you need, because you don't want to select one of those, go to variables. And the numeric puzzle piece, grab that, yes. And in there, type in 50. And now we want to tell it what you get, right? If you're good, you get pizza. So now we want the pizza part. So now go to, in the devices section, get the first purple block. So we want to set the light. Now you need another puzzle piece. So go back to that top, the top one. Yep. And grab another numeric one. And we want to set the light to on, which is 1. And now do that again. No, in variables. Oh yeah, sorry, you're right. Absolutely. You're doing it all by yourself now. That's right, 0. But you want to set the light to 0, right? So choose the light. That's it. That's pretty cool, right?
Yes, that's pretty cool.
What do you guys think?
It's really cool.
Is it simple enough for you guys to understand?
Yeah.
Yeah? Is it simple enough for you guys to do?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you want to try it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Who wants to go? Why don't you guys do it together?
Okay.
We'll try again.
It's more easier than studying for exam.
It's easier than studying for exams, huh? There you go. Okay. So on the light, connect the big, that connector there to number 13. Okay. Now let's go to the behavior section so we can tell it how it should behave. So what are you going to name these two?
This will be light. Yeah, this will be light.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you put that in? How did you know that was light?
Pin 13.
Pin 13, that's right. Now, is it an input or an output?
It's an output.
Wow, you're doing it all by yourself. Okay, if, click that, yeah. If the switch is less than,
Is the switch or the light?
no, because we want to know where is the switch right now. It's flat right now, so the light's on.
Okay.
So we're saying if the switch is upside down, then the light turns off,
Okay.
right? And the way that we say, is it upside down or is it the right side up? The way we do that is by giving it a value. So now you're going to go to the variables and you're going to get a numeric puzzle piece and drag that over, that's right, into that section and type in 50 there. That's amazing. You did it all by yourself. Great job, guys. Okay, shall we send this to the board, what you guys just built? Yeah? Okay. And that is what you guys just wrote. So now tell me, are you guys software developers?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
You're all software
Yeah.
developers, right?
Yeah.
Now you really believe it. Are you a software developer?
Yeah.
Yeah? It's easy to write software, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what this does, this is how we connect to the cloud, to the internet, and collect the code to put on here. That's what this is going to do. So we're going to tell it that we're connected on the first option, and we want to get new code for our Arduino. And now it's getting the code. Pretty cool, huh?
We did few steps, but it's doing like lots of steps.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that's it. Okay, who wants to test it? Wow. Look at that. You guys built that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You guys built that. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're like almost like a magician.
So, why don't you tell me what you think about what you saw today?
Everything was easy. Like it was amazing, cool. If I have this, I'll try it.
Yeah. Is it something that you feel like you can do yourself?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can do myself.
Wow. Okay. How about you? What did you think?
It was so nice. It was easy to do. Then it was looking like a magic show.
You made magic, huh? How was it for you?
It was fun. It was easy, and I could do it by myself, like the whole day long. And it was like amazing what we did today. So for me, my feeling was, I wish I could build that. It's so cool.
Yeah. Do you feel like a software developer now?
Yeah.
Yeah? You guys are now software developers. Congratulations. So make sure that your parents, make sure you tell them that you're now software developers. And that you don't need to go to school for it. Well, thank you very much, guys. Thank you for coming in and thank you for spending your evening with us. And I'm glad you guys had fun. Yeah? Thank you.